Good afternoon and welcome to Friday at Fran's. So we are here today to make a little bag. Since summer unofficially started on Memorial Day, we're going to make a beach bag. So I've already made a couple here and fun, you can put your book in here, you can put your towel in there, anything, your sunscreen. So you're all ready to go to the beach, and when you get home, the sand will come right out of the screening. But before I start, I do want to say that we have pulled a lot of fabric and added to our sale tables. So if you're looking for fabric to make a charity quilt, we've got a lot of new fabric, baby fabric, kids fabrics on the sale shelf for you to be able to save a little bit of money on. So the directions for this bag are on our website. We have the directions for the large bag. I am going to be making a little bit smaller bag today, so I will try to add those dimensions on it, but as we go, I'm going to tell you the difference. So first of all, this material comes 36 inches wide. So for this one, I got 13 and a half inches, which is a third of a yard. So that's what I've got this way. And then I cut it down to 27 inches. I bought 12 inches of the cotton fabric to make the other pieces for. So this one I cut 7.5 by 13 and a half. For my little top pieces, I cut them 4 inches by 13 and a half. And then my straps were 3 inches by 22, or about half the width of the fabric. So the first thing I did was find the center of this piece by folding it, and the center of I folded under 1/4 of an inch on each of these raw edges, and found the center of this, found the center of my bag. You can still see my markings there, and pin that on and just edge stitched on both sides of that. So that gets me a little bit of a bottom to the bag, so nothing's going to start sticking out the bottom when I carry it. So for the top edge of this, first of all, I'm going to start on the wrong side of my bag, so that'll be the side that doesn't have my bottom fabric on it. I took my top piece and I turned in 1/4 of an inch on each of the long edges, and then I folded it not quite in half. I brought the fold just up to this 1/4 of an inch, so one side is slightly longer than the other. I'm going to take the short end and just put it so that it just covers, or just that fold comes up to my edge there. I'm going to grab a few pins, and I'm going to pin this in place, not pinning through both edges, just pinning this in place. All right, and then I'm going to get that one flap out of the way, so I'm just sewing through this one edge. And again, sewing close to the edge of the fabric, and put a lot of pins in there, so I'm going to feel that I've got that up on the edge. Okay, and then once I got that sewn on, I'm going to fold this in, but as I fold this in, I'm going to incorporate my handle. So the handle, I cut an inch piece of fusible fleece just to give the handle a little more body, and iron that in and ironed in my edges at 1/4 of an inch, folded it in half, and now I'm going to just sew down both edges of that handle. I've already sewed down one, trying to save time where you're just sitting there watching me sew or pin. Forgot to put my measurements on here, so I'm going to just tuck this in about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to compare it to what I did on this end so that my handles are in the same place. It's a quick way to get something done if you don't forgot to bring your ruler over to your project. Okay, so I'm going to just pin this side down. I'm going to make sure I don't have this twisted or flipped. Bring it over here. I'm going to match it so I have it the same distance from the edge on this side. Tuck it in there a little bit. Pin it in place. Now, one nice thing about having this side a little bit longer than this side is I don't have to worry about catching anything. It's all, I got plenty there. So now I'm just going to sew this one down. So this is enclosing. So what I want to do here is enclose all the rough parts of this screening. That's really what it is it's just colored screening, okay? So, because this edge is raw, I don't want to just do a regular seam here. I'm going to do a French seam. So usually with a French, well actually, one more part. I'm going to bring these handles up and secure them well so they're always sewn through at once. So now I'm going to just sew all the way around the part that interacts with that. All right, so that is just nicely secured down. I'm going to do that to both of them, but I'm going to do the other one once I get off camera. So I don't take your time because I really want to show you the French seam that I'm going to use so that we don't have rough edges here that can get caught on your towel. So instead of starting right sides together, I'm going to start wrong sides together. I'm going to match this at the top and just sew this with, I'm going to move my needle over a little bit and sew this with about a quarter of an inch seam to start with. Make sure I got my edges together. Always back stitch a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Treat this screening very much different. If you were sewing a lot on the screening, you might get some drag. And I just lost my thread somewhere. Through that whole seam. Alrighty, so we're gonna quickly rethread this. So I did mention that we have put a lot of fabric on sale. We've also gotten, every day we get new fabric in. So we're getting lots of fun things for summer. And get this needle in the right position so the needle threader works. Alrighty. tell you, once you have a machine that has a needle threader, you sure get spoiled. Saves you time and effort, and you're like not me, your eyes are getting worse, so if you're in the market for a new machine, make sure it has a needle threader on it. Alrighty. Alright, so now I've got my pretty side out with the seams, so I'm going to turn this now so it's wrong side out. This stuff is stiff. The best way to pull it through, push it through, whatever. Wrestling with it here today. All right, and I'm gonna poke these edges out as best I can. Okay, so all right, now I'm gonna just kind of finger press that flat, and then I'm gonna finger press it together. Now this screening is plastic, so you don't want to be ironing it, okay? So you're just gonna finger press it. Now when I do this seam, I just want to make sure I'm a little bit deeper than the previous seam. A few weeks ago I did seam finishes, and we do have that up on our YouTube channel, Fran Sewing Circle, and it talks about how you do a French seam, how you do it on a regular garment. I would do a 1/4 of an inch seam, and then I usually trim it down a little bit and do a 3/8 inch seam. So that gives you what the usual seam allowance is on a garment. Just because this is heavier fabric, I'm doing it a little bit more than that. So that's one side done. Again, I'm going to flatten it, and then I'm going to, so that I've got that seam all the way out, and I'm going to sew it. Oh, I know what else I was going to tell you, if you're still with me. Star News is beginning their contest for the best in Wilmington, so we hope that you consider us the best sewing shop in Wilmington. So go to starnewsonline.com/contests and nominate Fran Sewing Circle for the best sewing store in town. We appreciate your support and showing it in this contest every year. Okay, so that's my bag. I'm going to just turn it right side out, and this is a nice little size for the little type that you might be taking to the beach for you. And these little turtles is one of our newer fabrics in the store. It goes well with this bright green screening. Okay, just poke those edges out, and now we've got nice smooth inside as well as outside, so you're not going to get any pokies. And that's our screened tote bag for the beach today. So join us next week, and we will be talking about what else is new in the store. Thanks for joining.